It's a little jammed up sometimes.
All right, so we're going to actually go down to the tables after we call the meeting to order. So hope everyone is ready downstairs, but welcome to the Monday, April 23rd regular meeting and workshop of the Hyde Park Town Board. Please join me while we pledge allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, may I have a motion to accept the minutes of the April 9th meeting?
I make a motion?
And a second?
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And would anyone like to comment on the resolutions before us? No? Okay, so we'll move right on from that. I do have a resolution I'd like to add at the dais, so I'd like a motion to add Resolution 423-17, authorizing highway superintendent to purchase a backhoe to maintain drainage and road systems of the town of Hyde Park.
I make a motion?
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so let's go down to the table, and we'll have to bring some of the microphones with us and hope that that works.
I
But
can move these two over.
and then we can begin our workshops.
There we go.
Well, we're all very excited about the MS4 annual report.
I can tell, yep.
Been waiting a full year
I
to
know.
hear more.
Yeah.
Interesting this year.
How time flies. Okay, so we're here again because every year we have to do our annual report. It's got to be submitted to the DEC in early June. Believe on your agenda tonight we have to set a public hearing for the May meeting, and you have to have a hearing on it as part of the requirement. Just going to hit a couple of the highlights over the past year. I know that Tad wants to add some things, but one of the big things that we did was we were able to inspect all of our outfall pipes. Back when this first started in 2003, the Dutchess County Soil and Water Conservation District had gone around and they mapped for most of the towns. They mapped all of the outfalls, and an outfall is defined as a catch basin system and the pipe that outlets from it. So it's not just like a cross pipe under the road. It's got to be a series of catch basins and then the outfall pipe from that. So the county, I don't know, when was that, Ted? That was maybe 05, 06, somewhere in there, is when the county went out like and mapped these. So we had about 116, I think. So over the years, since the county had done that, the town, through various bonding projects, had done quite a bit of drainage work. So some of those 116 got changed as part of, the road work. There was a bunch of outfalls that, were added. So we picked up, in addition to the 116, we picked up about 20 to 30 new, outfalls. So those outfalls, Tad and I have to go through a process. We have to figure out how those get, registered. I think we do that through the county. Again, we have to fill out a form or something. So, that was probably the biggest highlight. We review as part of this. We review through planning board projects. We review stormwater pollution prevention plans, and Tad also has quite a few soil and erosion control applications that we review. We go out and inspect these things, and those are all items that have to be itemized on our annual report. The other thing that we've had is one section on illicit discharges. Now, we don't have any industry here, so most of anything that comes up as far as illicit discharges are mostly failing septic systems. So this year, I believe we had, I'm gonna guess without looking through the thing, I think there was about 3 or 4 like reports either from the highway department or we also got one from the DEC, right? About they were.
We got 3 from the DEC, and we got 1 from a bus driver.
Oh, that's right. We had a bus driver that actually, when he picked up kids over on Crum Elbow Road, noticed like a smell, and reported it. So what we do when we have those is we have a protocol where we, because there's nothing we can do to I can force that, but it's our job to follow up on it. So we follow up with the Dutchess County Health Department. And the person that we deal with down there is excellent in terms of following up. He goes out to check them out. He follows up. Several they were actually able to fix it, and then there was 1 or 2 that he just couldn't find anything. So we also have been working with Howie. We're going to do the project coming up soon to repair the salt barn. So when we had our DEC audit on March the 23rd, the person that was here, they always want to go see the highway department. So we took her up there, and she was pleased that we were going to do a project up there to make some of the structural repairs, and also as many of the sides on the barn, like are rotted, some of the salt is falling out. So she was glad that we were going to be doing that project, and we're also working with Howie in terms of making sure that we have quarterly reports that we've asked the highway department and also the recreation department to fill out. That's part of our MS4. So I've been working with Howie on that one, and also we've talked to him about moving ahead as far as the outfall inspections. We had gotten behind on them, so that's why we said we asked the town board. We said this year, look, we really got to catch up. So can we be authorized to do that? And we did. So, but now moving ahead, you're supposed to inspect 20% of your outfalls like a year. So it's not a very complicated process, and so I don't think we need to pay us. The town needs to pay us to do it. So we've been talking to Howie about we can go work with his guys when they have downtime at various times during the year. We'll go out and we'll show them. There's a form to fill out. You take like a picture. So like moving ahead, I think that's going to help out.
He's shaking his head, yes. Thanks, Howie.
Thanks, Howie. Thank you.
And then Ted.
So is the idea that it would be like on a 5-year cycle? So you do
Yes.
20%
Yes,
each year? Yes.
correct. Yep. So
And then you prioritize the ones that need to be repaired.
I see.
maybe you want to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that you've been doing with Howie, the spill kits, or?
Dutchess County Soil and Water Conservation District obtained a grant to purchase spill kits for the different towns' highway departments if they wanted them. We received 1 55-gallon drum and 3 sacks, 2 sacks the first time, to be carried in the trucks. And the first time out, you used them, or the first time out? Yeah.
The oil spill, and we used it, and it worked great.
Worked great. And they had a few left over, so we went and picked up some more. And
More and another 55-gallon.
so hopefully, as the budget goes through next year, we'll be able to purchase replacement parts if we need it. So that was very helpful as well.
So that's pretty much it as far as the highlights. I'm sure all you have plenty of questions, right? What was that, attorney? So So,
Well, I don't want to ask a sore question, but I mean, what else came of the recent visit from our friendly
well,
DEC person as far as the highway garage?
we haven't heard yet.
Okay.
We had a few weeks to, update certain things. We were surprised at a few things that were said. We didn't really think that they were, applicable to us, but, so we provided, Tad provided a letter with my input, I think, on April the 6th, to her with a whole bunch, more information, just, to document, some other things, answer some of the questions that she had. And then I believe she said that we would get a report maybe a few weeks after that.
That's what she said.
That's what she said, so that would have been last, week. So I would think within like a week or two, we should be getting our evaluation.
But
So-
we are probably going to need to do some work at the highway facility to reduce runoff there.
Yeah, well, there was one thing that, they wanted in terms of where the vehicles are washed.
Yeah,
We're a little bit limited. I mean, there's only one area where, they can be washed.
Right.
So I think it's pretty simple. One of the things that I provided Tad was a basic outline of what we thought that we would do. And it's probably going to be nothing more than right off to the side, put in some kind of a stone infiltration pad. She was just concerned that none of the wash water made it into the basin that was on, the site. So she said that she would prefer that the trucks be washed on a grassed area, but I questioned how could we drive very heavy trucks onto a grass area? That's not going to really last long. And if you know the highway department, we don't have any grassed areas. It's either dirt or rock. So, but anyway, so, we'll come up with something. And as I think we also explained to her that Howie's got some drainage planned, up there, and we're going to put on I'll call it an oil and water separator on the last catch basin before it goes across the road
Good,
to the
yeah.
Crum Elbow Creek. It's like I think it's a $600 insert that'll go in there and just let the floatables come up to the top, and then every once in a while you have to check it and clean it out. So she was happy to hear that, and I think that we sent her a copy of the plan as part of the information. So.
well, I'm just thinking because the Water Quality Improvement Program grants come around every year, and if we have a document that says we need to do some of this work, it might be an opportunity to get some money
Yeah.
to do things that would help improve the facility anyway.
Sure.
So it doesn't have to be a bad thing if we have, something in the report to that effect.
Well, like I'm sure there'll be
point.
like a couple things that we have to improve on.
Well, yeah, I mean, hey, we're not perfect.
Everybody does, yeah. I mean, and we explained, look, we're
Like,
doing,
that was a surprise.
we're doing the best that we can. We explained about the tax cap, and that
Yeah.
we had. So,
Yeah.
I think overall we're doing pretty good. And Tad puts a lot of effort into it, so I want to definitely give her credit.
Definitely. Is part of what you have to submit is measures that you take at the planning board for applications to control the flow of?
Yes, we have to tell them how many stormwater pollution prevention plans that we have reviewed in the past year, and then we document how many, as best we can. Tad's good at keeping track of it as to how many planning board meetings where we discuss drainage,
Yeah.
because that gives you extra points. So,
Well, it does seem like our best opportunity to improve the stormwater is at the planning board
Yeah,
level.
yeah.
And I know that
And
you're
that's been
really
working
good
out
at that
well.
and really on top of it, and, much to the dismay of certain applicants, but,
Well-
it's not something that's really fun to spend money on, but
Yeah.
it's so important.
yeah, I mean, since they started this program, the DEC, once they, I think it was through the Clean Water Act, right? I mean, since they started it in 2003, it's a little bit different for us here in Hyde Park because we're on the fringe of, MS4. And I think actually only half of our town when MS4 was first started, only half of our town actually qualified because of the census. So we're on like the fringe area. So, you know, and they don't make like the rules different for us versus somebody down, like in Westchester. Everybody plays by the same, you know, rules.
Is that so?
Yeah, I mean,
there's
it's
gonna
no
be-
different for like
Eh,
a rural town than, you know, an urban.
But there is a population threshold where
Yeah.
you become part of an
Right.
MS4 community.
Right.
And so if you don't meet that threshold, there are different rules that apply? Is that right, or no?
Well, in other communities, the DEC is more directly in charge of the plans for new development, whereas in MS4s, the town has to do
Right.
that
Oh, I see.
examination.
So like in other words, if we're doing a private development project in Red Hook, let's say, and they are not an MS4 community, the DEC regulations in regards to if you go before, you know, the planning board, you have like a development application. If you still disturb over 1 acre, you still have to abide by the DEC regs. It's just that Red Hook as like a town doesn't have to go through.
I see.
Like the reporting.
They put the responsibility on the larger towns.
Correct.
Right.
Than
Right.
We
got
could
it.
wash our trucks up in Red Hook and it would be all right.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
That's a good
Shared
idea.
services,
That's a
yeah.
great idea. An innovation grant. Huh?
Well, the Cromilbo is
That's a great
it's a really
idea.
clean creek, you know, and
No,
so
I
it's
know.
good for
Yeah,
us
no,
to do what we
right,
can, and
exactly.
especially if it's a chance to get at some money for it.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
good.
so.
Okay,
that-
well, thank you.
Anything to add?
So the report has been posted on the
Oh, yeah.
web.
Okay,
Um,
so,
Please refer to the website. The contact for questions or comments is right on the first page of the post for the draft annual report. So please send your comments to me.
okay, and we're setting a public hearing at our May meeting for another meeting in May? Is
Was-
that, when?
Was it tonight for May?
I thought we were setting
Oh,
the
for
public
tonight. Oh,
hearing
okay.
tonight for May.
Oh, okay, for May's 7th or,
You only have one meeting in May, right?
no, we have two.
Oh,
May
well, then you,
7th
if you
and
wanted to
24th.
set it at the next meeting for the, I'd get 3 meetings shown at the town board.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I have a question, Pete.
okay.
sure.
I don't know if this covers it. It's an old development, and somebody called me 2 days ago about certain neighbors. It wasn't him, but in back of their property, there's stagnant water that didn't used to be there, used to flow through, I guess. He thinks that the property owners have, over the years, been dumping debris, you know, like leaves and limbs and stuff like that, and have kind of clogged it up. Does that come under your MS4 or not?
No.
Okay, that would be the neighbor's problem.
That's, yeah, a neighbor to neighbor.
Yeah, usually
Issue.
all those drainage swales are privately owned, right? The
Okay.
town doesn't have any.
What we're finding out, yes.
Right.
Okay, but it used to flow is what he was saying, and now it doesn't.
I mean, if it's,
They've jammed it up like a
it-
beaver, I
I
guess.
mean, if it's part of one of these older developments,
It is.
you know,
Okay,
I don't think the town, you know, owns any of them,
okay, fine.
so.
Yep. So they have to fix it themselves.
Or work with their neighbors, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
talk with their neighbors
Yeah.
directly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what I thought, but I want,
well, yeah, good question, Dave.
it's not my ward, but I said I'd look into it till,
Well, it is a question that comes up regularly in
Yep.
particular areas. And
Yep.
we've met with often to discuss it, recently, just a month or so back. And Warren has done rather extensive research on the area, in particular to Harvard Hills.
Oh, that's looking in here.
Is that?
well, Trozo Road.
Yeah, and, you know, there has been this issue since the 1960s, when the subdivision was created, and the town never took title to those
Okay.
drainage swales. And town law prohibits municipalities from working on private property for very good reason, for the obvious reasons that that's easy to exploit in certain circumstances. So, you know, it's a pretty hard and fast rule. So,
Okay.
you know, we would love to be able to assist in that effort, but, you know, legally, we really are not allowed to.
So they were put in by the developer, right?
They were put in by the developer, and they were, the town was asked to take them at certain points, and in fact, Warren found a letter from Supervisor Clearwater, a very
God.
definitive letter that the town would not be taking the drainage swales.
Okay.
From like the 60s.
From the
when it was
Right.
first-
sixties,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
when they were-
yeah.
There's never any intent on the town's part to take those.
Okay,
So,
that answers that question.
so really, you know, it's up to the property owners to work with their neighbors to do that.
Good,
So,
that's the answer.
yep. Okay.
Okay?
All right, well,
All right,
thank you very
thanks.
much. Yeah, Pete, do you want to stick around for our 284 agreement and highway? Thank you, Tad.
Thank you, Ted.
Yep, see ya. Hey, Howie. Yes, Howie's up next.
Pass this around.
Yeah.
God.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna keep you here that long.
No, I mean,
I promise.
I'm not used to this.
Thanks. Well, Howie is very thorough.
I know.
I'll share with, Joe's not here, right? Right, we'll leave it for Joe.
But I
though.
did want to answer something, to David about that Harvard Hills, and that's one of the reasons why I want to do the LEAF
Howie,
program.
put this,
Up further?
yeah.
That's why I want to do the LEAF program, because that's why all these areas are getting filled in, because people don't have anywhere to get rid of them. So that's one of my rushes to get the equipment, so I can start that hopefully next year. So that's our problem, and it's not just Harvard Hills, it's all the developments.
To some extent, that's true, but it's also true that a lot of the properties were
That-
built in swamps.
Exactly, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
But over the years, you know, being
Just to
with,
be honest about it, right?
There
Well,
wasn't
I
anything there when I
mean,
was.
you
Some
know,
were.
it's true, but
It's
we're
true,
finding a
yeah.
lot of our ditch lines are, even our ditch lines, that we
Yeah.
have to keep going cleaning out from people throwing in
From
front of the
debris,
pipe,
yeah.
over top of everything.
Well, you know, it's actually a bigger problem everywhere. I have just noticed a situation today where people are dumping in my neighborhood. and-
Really?
Yeah.
Down the bank?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
do it on South Drive too.
Yeah, yeah, so, anyway,
Okay, so I threw together this folder today that I've been working on for the last month. The first packet is basically the county roads, all our roads that the county did a survey on. It shows you our worst roads to our best roads.
Yep.
And if you take a chance to look at it, you'll see there's a lot of bad roads.
Yeah.
Some we can't even plow at this point. So there, you'll notice I highlighted in green the ones I planned on doing this year. And a couple of them further back in it is because we lost a couple roads during the winter storm. That was done with mortar pave. There's nothing left to the roads, so that's why you'll see Henry, Rockland, and Vista on there. That's set back a little bit, but during the winter, they became one of the worst roads.
So this list is organized worst to best, is that the?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
awesome.
You'll see it goes by
Oh, right.
points. And of course, the worst road in town is Cookingham Road, but at this point, we can't really do anything with it until a couple situations are taken care of out there. Otherwise, we're just gonna throw tax money out the door. And the second worst is Beck Road. And I planned on doing drainage this year because it needs so much drainage. I didn't wanna put blacktop on top of a road with that much drainage to it, otherwise there's gonna be sink spots and all that, and we just don't need that, spending that kind of money. We wanna make sure the roads last.
was that one of the roads that was damaged in the Hurricane Irene?
It was at the bottom.
It was.
Yeah.
Yes, we redid that whole section, but just up above that, you can't even sit in your seat driving over it anymore. So we walked through it, me and my foreman, came up with some ideas, to take care of that water problem. Push it off the road a lot quicker, because it goes down the road before it goes out. Also, there's a major pipe that's gotta be replaced, just up above Kim Lane. And then up above that, there's another pipe, and these are larger pipes, so it costs a little bit, but there's no sense wasting money. We wanna make sure when we put the blacktop down, it stays.
Sure. It is an investment for sure.
Yes, but we wanna make sure the investment is right, because we also gotta go back, we're fixing 3 basins on Roosevelt Road now. And we seem to do that many plus every year, because the contractors that did it just dug a hole, dropped a basin, and brick and mortared up, and now the brick and mortar's gone, and you'll notice that on West Dorsey Lane, East
Yeah.
Dorsey Lane. So we'll be back on those roads, fixing those too, and trying to get rid of some of those spots that are dangerous with the cars.
Okay.
The next packet is the chips. I wanted to just show you that I wanted to purchase the backhoe out of the CHIPS money this year. And on the second page, you'll see that we're allowed to do that with the CHIPS money,
Yeah,
you know, purchase equipment.
yeah.
The page after that, the booklet, if you turn the inside of the first page, you'll see our equipment and why I'm kind of hounding you all most of the time. The little paver we have was bought back when Ed Cox was in office
Wow.
in 1991. It's still usable, but the idea was Ed Cox bought that because he wanted to make it bigger. He wanted us to bring it in, let us do some roads, see how we handled it, and then upgrade from there. It's still fine to do dead ends with. We can't do major roads like Pine Woods Road, anything big. You know, people
Just not
don't.
wide enough, right?
It's not wide enough. It wouldn't do the job that you're gonna get with a paving crew. And you don't wanna do a major thoroughfare road and not have it done right. But for dead ends, short dead ends, it's perfect. Which is one of our goals for next year was, a lot of the dead ends have been forgotten about in town because, you know, most people, when they become highway superintendent, they go for the votes by going into developments. And so I'm ready to go in and knock out some of these dead ends,
Great.
okay?
So
But
do you have a rough idea of how much a new paver would cost, the size that you need?
the next size up is 141,000. I did, now I only checked one place because I just,
I mean,
it was
just
before I
roughly,
took
yeah.
office, I just wanted, out of curiosity. I would have to do a little bit more homework and shop around.
Sure.
But that was the next size up that could do a road. We could also look to rent one, but I'm also trying to work with the shared services. I've been going to the Highways Association meetings every month. It took me a little bit to break in because Hyde Park's new to the Highway Association group, so I'm still working it. And I'm going to blacktop maintenance for the Cornell Road program this coming month. So,
Do you recall what the differential is between the cost of blacktop and then the cost if you have a paving company do it?
yes, it's $64 a ton for us to buy it.
Mhm.
I think last year was 76.
Oh, wow, so
I
it
don't
went
know what
down.
it's gonna come in this year.
Mhm.
You know, we estimate at $80 a ton, but we don't know yet what it's gonna come in at.
For the contractors to do it?
Yes.
Under the bid, right?
Yes.
Right.
You know, can we just make sure Howie can, I just want to make sure that people can hear you, Howie, because it's, yeah.
Set that and be
Yeah, because that one I just don't hear the, yeah, so.
So, again, our equipment, you know, we also need a roller. And I'm trying not to bombard you with everything, because if you take a look, you'll see our trucks, 1997, a 2000, 2001, 2004. They're all listed there. The loader is old. We have a code coming up on that, which is gonna be in the harness, because we called JCB about it, and it's gonna be a pricey thing. So I hate throwing money into old equipment. It's just a waste. So that's why, you know, you guys took care of me with the chipper for the storms. We're all caught up on that finally.
So it was, yeah, because we had talked, it was 3 pieces of equipment, your chipper, and now the backhoe and.
The loader.
The loader.
Once I have
Loader's
those
next.
3 pieces of equipment, we're golden. You know, the trucks, we're keeping together, we're making them run. We took one that was taking off the road, and we put it back on this year, and thank God we did, because we needed it more than anything this year. So, and that's the 1997. The older trucks seem to be, you can't kill them.
Glad to hear it.
Well, but I told you that. I'm not here looking for trucks, but I wanted to show you that our equipment is very outdated. I mean, but we're doing our best to keep them on the road and keep them
Well,
running.
and since we've been in office, I think we've purchased three snowplows, right?
Big
The
truck.
thing is, I mean, when you think about this list, and this is just my kind of pet peeve, I mean, I think we have like about 11 trucks, is that right, big trucks? Something
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
And then we have a bunch of these other big pieces of equipment. And if you figure, you know, that if you counted on them each lasting 15 years, and say we had roughly 15 things, I mean, I know this is very round, we
Right.
should be replacing one a year. So the fact that we've replaced a few, I mean, we need to get in a better habit of replacing them regularly.
There was
in
a
my opinion.
10-year program,
Yeah,
and that was kind of pushed aside. And it's kind of hard. I'm not, It's kind of hard because in between you have to buy, let's say, a mower, you have to
Right.
buy a roller, you know. I'm looking now at stuff that hasn't been replaced, the equipment that is essential. I mean, you have to have a backhoe to do
Sure.
drainage. You have to have a loader during the winter for the storms. Plus, also when trees come down, we've taken the loader out, we move trees off the road, especially if it's a big storm. And then, of course, the chipper. I mean, the chipper doesn't cost you a dime when there's nothing to do. You should say there's nothing, never a time where there's nothing to do, but it doesn't cost anything to send the men out.
That's right.
And cut trees and clear back the roads. You know, it's preventive, like everything else.
Right. Good.
So,
Well, thanks for all this information.
and then the next page over is the backhoe. I went out and I looked at 3 different backhoes. As you all know, I ran the backhoe for the town for about 25 years. I kind of knew what I was looking at, what I wanted for the guys. We spent a lot of money bringing in contractors to do work. And with this backhoe here, I don't see the need for most of that. I wanted to order a grader bucket for it. It's got a Helix coupler on it, so it'll actually turn and dig nice trenches to put riprap in. And they were paying contractors to come in and do that. I just don't see the need. I'm trying to make it so we do all our own work.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you, Howie.
But this one here, you know, just so you know, I mean, it's built. It's built to last, it's reinforced boom. You can also put a hammer on it, which back in the day, there was no such thing as putting a hammer on an extend-a-hoe backhoe. But they've built this machine now where you can.
Yeah.
So it's something maybe down the road, we can find a used one that we can add to this. And because when we pay for somebody to come in with a hammer, it's like $1,200, $1,300 a day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow.
For day.
So we don't have to buy a brand new one. We can find one used and, you know, we'll save a lot of money that way.
And what about the old one? Are we gonna auction that? Are we going to trade in? What do we?
The trade-in wasn't, it was at a different dealer, it was $3,500. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolute auction, they came out to the Dutchess County Highways Association meeting. It doesn't cost us anything.
Yeah.
We can say, we can put a minimum on it, we won't let it go for, let's say, $5,000.
Okay.
And if it doesn't go for that, they bring it back and it's done.
Perfect.
But they do all the paperwork, we don't do anything. We just collect a check. Their fee comes from
The buyer.
the buyer, yes.
That's great.
So is that the plan then, that we'll
Yes.
do that? So I
Yes.
think we'll need to have a resolution that authorizes
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Can you do that, or do you have to do that as surplus, like equipment?
You mean absolute auction?
Yeah.
Oh, we use them.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they do. They're right now doing for other towns.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, good.
And then also, the chipper, I would like to give to the rec department. This way, it'll be twofold. They'll take care of the rec department, the woods area, and if we have a major storm, we will
Get
borrow
two
it
going.
back. We can have 2 out on the road instead of waiting to get done.
Yeah, I met with Kathleen and I explained that's what you would like to do. And she wanted to understand if in fact you thought we should charge the rec department for that, or?
We were all together. I have a hard time charging somebody for
Okay, she'll be
something.
happy to hear that.
Right, well, she asked me that, and that's what I said to her. I said, I'd like to give it to you, and I'd like to also make the stipulation that if a major storm comes in, we'd like to borrow it back, so we'd have 2 chippers on
That's
the
great,
road.
perfect.
Makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Howie, I don't know whether you know, we have an intermunicipal agreement
Oh, sorry.
for a paver up in, I think it's Rhinebeck, Milan, I think Northeast is part of that. And I don't, you might want to look into that. We might, the town may
They
be-
actually come to the Highways Association meetings, so I've talked to them a few.
Okay.
I know a few of them just got together and purchased a Bobcat.
Yeah, we purchased the paver and also a Bobcat also.
The problem with the paver is it's hard to borrow
Is it-
somebody's paver when they buy it as a group, because there's just not enough time.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, everybody wants it at the
Everybody
same
wants it.
time.
Yeah, I have no idea what the demand is for that.
Well, the problem is you have to do the drainage first.
Right.
And then everybody at the end of the fall is rushing to get the blacktop
Yeah, it's
down.
probably 3 municipalities, probably more than
Yeah, I mean,
can handle.
again, I'm really interested in those 3 pieces. I want to get the leaf program up by next year. I have a place to get rid of the leaves now. I had somebody approach me and said he'll take every bit of them. So,
That's the least expensive piece of equipment too.
yes. Yeah, actually, the loader is,
20 grand.
No, the loader?
The leaf loader?
No,
Oh,
the leaf loader. Yeah, I haven't even got that far. I need to get the loader first. I need to be able to send a piece of equipment out to each development and then have a crew with each piece of equipment to do that. That's another topic, after we get the loader. But I can start without it, you know what I mean? So, okay, so I did want to show you that. The backhoe also is going to, the guy's given us a great deal because it's on the lot. He's given us options on the backhoe that is $5,000 more at the other places I went to, you know? And again, it's on the lot, we can pick it up and it's ready to go.
Okay.
So that was the reason why I was rushing for that. Then we have the 284 agreement. We want to do the amendment. On here, you'll see the roads that I picked. Most of them are on that front page, outside of a couple we lost. It also breaks down the money. And on the last page, the last sheet of that folder, breaks it down into ton. And we also put a 10% contingency. Pete said they do that. That's for true and leveling and also for aprons on the driveways.
So just for the people at home that are wondering about the paving, that Howie's considering, it'd be Horns Park Road, Baker Road, Horns Park North and South, Molly's Way, Cedar Lane, Doty Ave, Fall Hill Road, Vista Road, Henry Street, and Rockland Road.
And then also Beck Road for drainage.
And Beck Road for drainage, right.
Okay. So we've had some discussions, over the last few days about the best approach for addressing our road situation. And, really, since we've been in office, we have dedicated funds primarily from CHIPS for for paving our roads. So this is new for us, a new borrowing. And so when we add up the funds that will be coming from CHIPS and Pave New York and the emergency winter recovery, we are still anticipating taking about $31,000 from the highway fund and then borrowing a 15-year life bond for about $435,000.
This one shows 500,000. Is it 500?
Yeah.
Or-
That was put in there by the time that
Okay.
TC did his money, it was 400 and something, but
Okay.
his initial thing was 500,000.
Okay.
I also like to say something about that CHIPS money. I mean, the CHIPS money is great, but back in the day, there was a line for the blacktop outside of the CHIPS money. CHIPS money right now with the emergency recovery and a Pave New York, we're doing 1.25 miles of road a year. We have almost 100 miles of road in this town.
Right.
And there's just no way to catch up, we're going backwards. So we need to find a better way to come up with some money. And again, if it means me going out with that small paver to do some dead ends, we have to do something better. Because what's gonna happen is you're gonna end up having to borrow huge, because our roads are a mess.
Well, I mean, can I just butt in, because I'm the one that's been complaining about this borrowing, and I just want to, for the record, say, I am all for paving these roads, and I don't think we should be spending less on roads, I think we should be spending more on roads.
I agree.
And, but my concern is really just, is using borrowing in order to do that. So I really need to talk to TC about that, and, I haven't had a chance to, but I'm gonna try to talk to him later this week. But before I came, I looked at the highway budget, and the total highway budget is $3 million. And of that, we're spending $700,000 a year paying back bonds. It's like more than 20% of it. So we're spending, that's my understanding, unless I'm misreading it, we're spending $500,000 a year on principal for old bonds and $200,000 a year on interest for old bonds. So, I mean, in my mind, like, if you want to buy a house, you can't just buy it one room at a time. You got to buy the whole house. So yeah,
Right.
you take out a mortgage to buy your house. But if it's something that we have to do every year, like replacing trucks and paving roads, we should be budgeting for it. And I know that
agree.
would mean raising taxes, but I think that's just what we have to do.
But I
Because
also-
the problem, let me just finish, because my concern is that right now we're spending money on interest that we could be spending on roads. So what I'd like to do, and we may need to bond right now, but I'd like to have a long-term plan where we have more money every year that's just going into paving, because I don't think bonding is a good solution for it. I think between that and trucks, we're borrowing and we're paying interest on something that we can predict every year we're gonna need to spend money on.
I
So why don't
agree.
we just spend the money rather than borrow it and pay interest? So, I mean, I looked at, if we like put in, if we bond 438,000, which I think is what was on, or 435, it comes out to 36,000 a year we're gonna have to spend just to pay that back. So next year, we have to budget 36,000, and we don't get any new roads. We're just paying back the old bond. So then what happens? So when do we find the money to put more into roads every year?
Well-
And that's what I just wanna have a plan for.
And I gotta tell you something, I think if you took a vote with your taxpayers, instead of keeping under the 2% tax cap every year and getting a $150 check,
Yeah.
I'm sure they would rather go up a little bit more and forego that $150. You
But
know,
if we put
especially
in-
for better services.
Right. If we put in 200,000 a year, say 100,000 for a truck and 100,000 for roads, I'm just picking a number. That would be 200,000, and that's about 3% we'd have to raise taxes. But once we do that, we wouldn't have to raise them again. That would stay the same. Every year, we'd have that 200,000 to put towards trucks and roads.
Well-
And to me, that just makes so much more sense than
Except
bonding.
for a road, truck is about 225,000.
Okay, well, fine, then my numbers are wrong. But whatever it is.
We're
I
gonna get
mean,
little tiny trucks to go around.
Okay, you're right, but
No,
whatever
I'm
it is, like, if we can't afford it, we can't afford it, but then we need to find out how we can afford it, because it's what we have to do, and I don't think borrowing and making the future people pay it back is sensible in my mind.
I agree, this year's been a little tough with the storms, and this is,
Yeah.
you know,
We have a backlog, I get that, so
Yeah.
we might just have to do it this one time, but I'd like to have a plan.
I would love to sit down with you guys and come
Yeah.
up with something better, I really would. But I'm also pushing to try and get services that I kind of promised in my time, in my
Sure.
election, you know, the
Yeah.
LEAD program, we're doing the trees now, the Christmas tree pickup. We're trying to do more and give them something for their tax dollar, but
Yeah.
at the same time, it's costing, you
Right.
know? Because we forgot about it for so long that we really need to do something.
Well,
But if we could break this cycle, then we could be spending the 700,000 a year on something we're getting now, rather than something that happened
I
many
agree.
years ago.
That's TC's department with.
Right, and I'll talk to him about it, but that's what's on my mind.
When we
So
have
I'm
the
not
snow
saying we
reserve,
shouldn't.
can we do like a paving reserve as well? I mean, why?
yeah.
I mean, I'm just,
Right.
you know, I'm just thinking when we all took office, we came in together, this place was a mess, you know,
Right.
and we didn't have two nickels to rub together.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, what really has taken a back seat has been some of the roads,
Yeah.
because, I mean, we had no other choice. And then, of course, then you had the tax cap on top of that, and the way Albany tied the tax cap, if you went above the tax cap, then they lost, you know, a rebate check coming back to them. So we have to be careful with that as well.
Sure.
So it's a juggling act, and I agree. But I do think at this point, you know, we have so many roads that if we don't get these done, we're gonna lose these roads, and it's gonna cost us that much more. We've already lost two. So,
We've lost more than that. I plan on, I have another road that's basically unplowable.
Can you just explain what losing a road is?
What happened was, years ago, they paved the roads with a mortar paving. It was cheaper at the time, but you were supposed to seal the roads so many years after, like every 3 years. It never happened. Like across from Roosevelt High School, that's Golden Meadows, every time we plow, we're tearing up sections. And I have people calling and screaming at me, but I'm trying to tell them, yours isn't the worst road, but it will be sooner than later. That's the problem. It's getting tore up. So I've been looking at different avenues. I had Gorman come in. They have what's called a microchip. I think I talked to you, Aileen, about that for Pine Woods Road, where it would overlay the road and also give a grit for people that keep going into the guardrail there during the winter time. Other towns have been using it, and it's a fraction of the cost compared to paving.
Is that like that hot and pave?
It's,
Where you recycle the?
no.
asphalt?
It's a whole different procedure. I told him I need to go see it done. He's gonna take me and show me when they do a road. Red Hook uses it, a bunch of the other towns use it, the county used it out on North Quaker Lane by Fallkill on that turn there. Then I also took them up and showed them Golden Meadows, and they have a thing that's done with fiberglass. And what it does is it seals all the cracks, and it kind of gets you another 8 years out of a road that we're not probably gonna get 2 years out of. And again, it's a fraction of the cost. We really need to start looking to seal some of our roads and protect them before we end up with way too much. And Golden Meadows is a mess.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that the mayors and supervisors has done is we meet regularly with the county executive, and one of what we argue for is that, you know, there was an adjustment in the sales tax that took a distribution that went to the towns and now goes to the county, and they substituted with the shared service program, but you know, what I have said, and the general consensus is why don't you give us additional monies for our roads? Like, this is, and actually at the state level too, the CHIPS has not been increased. You
No,
know,
it hasn't.
this is like the basic function of government is to provide roads, and yet we have to apply for special grants if we want to, you know, get a paver maybe, or, you know, but yet this is a predictable need, and this is what we need support from our higher elected officials, is additional monies to help supplement this, because there is this tension of staying under the tax cap, and it's beyond just the receiving a check back. It's, we want to control people's taxes.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
so that is why we have this situation. But, and, you know, we have limited ability to increase revenue, and so here's where we are. But I agree with Emily that we really should take a look and see if we can, but I don't know that I agree that the average taxpayer would support that as a general principle, that they want to see their taxes go up.
Well,
You know, I
I'm
think
not
that's-
talking
that's
about
a
an
hard
every year
sell.
thing, but somewhere along the line, it's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
cost them that much more if we don't start catching up a little bit. I
Right.
mean, as you can see, Fallkill Road's on mine, that's 1.74 miles of road.
Yeah.
It's a long stretch. And then you got South Cross Road, the last time that was done was 31 years ago. It was my
Wow.
first year in office.
Yeah.
And we did it with our driveway paver. You know, we did.
And Falk Hill was like 300,000 alone, right?
Yeah.
Just for that one road.
It's
So-
and you know, then
Yeah.
you got Cardinal Road. I mean, we have long stretches of
Right.
roads that need to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, well, I know you're approaching it very methodically and seriously.
Well, it's hard to tell
and-
people that your road's not as bad as the next one, and I tell you, I'm
You know,
getting
it's
a lot
one
of
of the
that.
most frequent complaints,
Yeah.
really.
But it's really fabulous that, first of all, that the county did this survey, and
It is.
secondly,
Yeah.
that
It
you're
helps.
using it, because it makes it a lot more scientific. It's not just someone's opinion of which road is better or worse.
Yes.
Like, we have a list, we're working down it, you know?
But
Right, it's
what
not
I,
favoritism, though,
Right, yeah.
right, but what I'd really like to do is be able to spend the 1 year doing the drainage, and then
Yeah.
blacktopping it the following, where I could be
Yeah.
ahead a little bit.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
That makes
and-
so much sense.
And the drainage
Yeah.
gets a chance to settle, and we're not putting roads, and all of a sudden you got the little sinkholes. So that was my goal with Beck Road, and if you ever drive over Beck Road, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And on that list, it's the second worst road in the town. But I had to tell them I'm doing the drainage this year and not the paving, and of course, even waiting a year, they're just like, oh my God.
So there is some additional monies coming through the federal sources, through Pat Pomeroy. What was that
Yeah, it was like a
program?
winter, it was a federal disaster recovery thing
For-
due to the last,
It was for the storm in 2017. Remember where we lost all the trees on Mansion? So I'm wondering if we can.
Yeah, I
sub-
do
we
remember
could,
that.
Yeah, we could submit possibly for that. But I think when we talked to Pat Pomeroy, she said the city of Poughkeepsie was using that fund to replace an entire length of water pipes. So if you, you know, if there were roads that were damaged or bigger projects that were a result of some incidents in 2017, maybe think about that, and we could try to get some additional funds in for that.
Bless you.
Bless you.
and it'll also be good to see, you know, as you're managing the budget this year, like maybe there are some areas that you can cut back that we could then take that money and put towards
Well,
paving.
this
you
will
know?
be my final note on that.
Okay,
I really tried hard now, and I've said with my mechanics, we're not sending stuff out like that was being done. The only thing that I'm looking to purchase here pretty soon, and we've talked about it, is a scanner for the trucks. Because every time one of our trucks gets a light on, it has to be sent, you know? And I priced one, it was $6,200, and it'll actually show you the sensor, it shows you where it is on the engine, it gives you all the schematics, and it's $100 every time somebody plugs in.
We could probably take some of that from the police, because we do all their cars as well, right?
Because
Well,
that's
that-
something that Howie's doing now,
He does all
too,
the
to
police
bring in-
vehicles now.
That's great.
We could do rec, we could do all the vehicles in the
Yeah.
town, because
So between the three departments,
And
Does
also-
it have to, oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
no,
does
go
it have to
ahead.
be a certain brand, or is it?
no,
varies
we've
for-
looked at a couple. One was
I
less
meant brand
money.
of- I'm sorry, make of, like, the brand of vehicle, what do you call it?
Well, no, some of the packages are different. The one we looked at does all cars, every car. It does all our trucks. It'll do all that stuff. If you wanted to do like the off-road stuff, like the backhoe, the loader, it's $2,000 more to add to it. But I don't see the need because we're replacing that, and they
Yeah.
come with the warranties.
Yeah,
You know, like the loader, the new loaders coming out, they do everything through GPS. They tell you what's wrong with your, from a computer and a, you know, yeah, it's true. I just looked at a loader, and you don't do anything anymore. You know, it'll come up and tell you when the oil change.
yeah.
You know, you call them and say, I'm having a little problem, they just go on the computer and say, yep, that's it, right there, you know. It's a different world now.
Most cars, you can do that yourself.
Yeah.
There's ways to check your car, when the light comes on, it tells you what it is. Usually right.
The problem with a lot of the stuff now, like all our trucks are all computerized, a light comes on, depending what it is, it's a code. You have to have a code reader. Now,
Right.
a basic code reader, which a couple grand, it'll say, yeah, it's this, well, where is that sensor? You have no clue. The one we looked at actually shows you exactly where it is on the equipment.
That's
and Yeah, it saves time. Yeah, it's amazing.
My
So,
car would tell me exactly what was wrong with the Jeep, you know, it would tell me right where it was.
Yeah.
But it didn't give me a diagram.
yeah, there's like 3 computers in these trucks. They're so different now. But again, we're trying not to send stuff out. You know, and that's our goal. You know, that was a lot of money we were spending sending everything out.
But even, you know, if we could do more paving in-house, I know, what did you say, it was 64 a ton versus 76 a ton, which isn't, you know, but that's still
But
like
take a look at how many
20% different,
tons,
right? So,
think on that, just that paper,
Yeah.
how many ton we're putting out this year.
right.
Yeah.
It does add up.
So if you could get 20% more by doing some of it in-house, that, you know, that helps. So if we could look at some ways of pulling some more money into the annual paving budget instead of bonding, that would be my preference.
I agree. Anything that's gonna get blacktop down and make people happy. And again, I'm looking at other ways to do these roads too, except, you know, that we could seal them, use some different techniques.
That's great.
So, yeah, we're working at it, you know.
Well, I just want to thank you, Howie. You're doing a great job and
Oh, thank
working
you.
really hard, and it's been a pleasure to work with you, and
You also,
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate everything you guys have done,
yeah,
you know.
we're working
be
together,
happy with you.
really, yeah, yeah, so good. All
Thank you again.
right, well,
Thank you.
have a good night.
Finish your
Okay, thanks, Howie. Okay, do you guys want to go back to the dais, or stay more? Yeah.
stay here, stay here.
Okay,
I'm
all
gonna
right.
stay here.
He rolls.
Okay. You guys, yeah.
Attorney rolls.
There's a step in everybody.
Okay,
Okay, Kenny.
all righty. Dave, you ready to roll?
What
Or
order
no?
are we in here?
Oh, Joe. Oh, all right, thanks, Pete. See ya.
No, Emily goes first. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh.
Resolution 423-1 of 2018, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to execute a contract between the Hyde Park President's Youth Football and Cheerleading Program and the town of Hyde Park to run an American Youth Football Conference and Cheerleading Program as part of the town's recreation program for the year 2018.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 423-2 of 2018, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to execute a contract with Hyde Park Baseball, Inc. to provide a baseball and softball program for the residents of the town of Hyde Park as part of the town's recreation program for the year 2018.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 423-3 of 2018, resolution authorizing the town historian to apply for a grant from the William G. Pomeroy Foundation to mark the town's newly established New Guinea Community National Historic Site at Hackett Hill.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 423-4 of 2018, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to execute an architectural and engineering consulting agreement with Greenman Peterson, Inc. for design of pedestrian lighting as part of the town's pedestrian improvement project.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 223-5 of 2018, resolution acknowledging the resignation of the Town of Hyde Park Town Assessor, Kristen Gables.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
And just want to thank Kristen for her very good service and wish her the best in the future. She's a very nice person, and we'll miss her.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Should we kind of explain the plan?
Well, we have the.
Or you want to wait till we get to that
Yeah,
one?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Resolution 423, oh, sorry.
Ken?
I was like, all right, I missed.
Ken, just let it go.
Resolution
Dave's giving me
423-6
the eye.
of 2018, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to execute an intermunicipal cooperation agreement with Hyde Park Central School District for 2018.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye. Is this one me?
Now it's you.
Okay.
Now it's back to you.
Resolution 423-7 of 2018, resolution authorizing town justice clerk Tessa Stokes to carry over accrued vacation time.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 423-8 of 2018, resolution authorizing police officers Jacqueline Tucker and Joseph Ozlowski to attend the National Child Passenger Certification Training Course May 9th through the 12th in Poughkeepsie, New York.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
This looks like such a nice training. I'm so
Yeah.
impressed that the
Yeah.
police really keep their skills up.
Yep.
Resolution 423-9 of 2018, resolution authorizing the Hyde Park Police Department's submission of the 2019 Governor's Traffic Safety Committee Grant Program application.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 423-10 of 2018, resolution authorizing town-owned surplus police vehicle and surplus equipment to be sold at public auction via GovDeals.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye. Resolution 423-11 of 2018, resolution appointing part-time police assistants Danielle Erickson and Mark Parada.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye. Resolution 423-12 of 2018, resolution authorizing town supervisor to execute amended 284 agreement for the expenditure of highway monies.
Second?
And all in
I
favor?
just want to say, I'm going to vote in favor of this, but I am still concerned about the bonding, and before we do a bonding resolution, I'd like to understand that better. So,
Okay.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 423-13 of 2018, resolution authorizing the confidential secretary to the town supervisor, Caroline Miller, to carry over accrued vacation time.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 423-14 of 2018, resolution authorizing appointment of Christopher Borick as acting assessor for a period of 3 months.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
So, Chris, want to come on up and join us for a minute? Sure. Just sit right here next to Ken.
Very good.
So, hey, welcome aboard. We're very
Thank you
pleased
for having me.
to have you. And I don't know if you know everyone here,
We
but
met once before. Yes, I did.
Ed Schneider.
the
name, for sure. I'll get you the name.
Yeah. David Ray and Emily. And so, we're, you got us out of a jam.
Well,
And we appreciate
I live
that.
here, so I want to help out and
Yeah.
do
And
what we can do.
Yeah, and you have a lot of experience. You work for a lot of various local.
28 years
And-
as a tax assessor.
Uh-huh.
So there's not too much I haven't seen.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff I probably want to unsee.
Well, again, we really are appreciative that you were able to jump in so quickly for us. And we have talked on occasion before, and so we got to know you that way. And so you'll be our acting assessor for 3 months, and we'll see what happens after that.
Yeah, we'll get you through the grievance.
Yeah.
It's very important, for a town to have that and just to maintain continuity. And it would really mess up your scheduling and things like that. So, I appreciate the opportunity as well. And, we'll get get you where you need to be.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, it's really a tough time for us to lose our assessor,
Yeah.
so I really appreciate
Yeah.
you stepping up.
And so we'll be in touch. I know you're going to be speaking with Kristen tomorrow.
Yes,
And
yeah.
we have a number of.
We're trying to
things.
bridge it so it's a little a smooth transition.
Yes, that's
for lack of a
great.
better.
And so we'll be looking for, because Chris won't be working full-time, we'll be looking for a part-time aide to assist, and that will be down in the basement to help the taxpayers at certain points. And so I'm hopeful that the taxpayers will be patient with us, because the tax office, the assessor's office won't be open on a full schedule at this point, but we hope it will be restored in the near future, but, so.
Right, the maintaining office coverage is very important, and, you don't want to break that, but, this is an odd situation, and hopefully the public will be, sympathetic to that, you guys are really trying, and, and I'll be really trying to, just to try to help out, and, we'll get you through this period, and then.
Yeah, we're
let the-
interviewing right now.
Oh, excellent.
We had, Sandy got the list from Civil Service, because it is a competitive position if you go full-time, so we did get the list, and we sent the inquiries out this morning.
Excellent.
And actually talked to a couple other people who or one other in particular who is a elected tax assessor in a different community.
Mhm.
So he might be interested in helping us out too,
Okay.
which would be great, because it's a pretty technical field.
It's
There's a
very
lot of,
complicated.
deadlines that we have to meet, and, we want to be sure to be helpful to the seniors in particular who come in with their stars, so there's a lot going on with this.
Yes, there is. There's a
So-
lot of moving parts.
Yeah, good. All right, well, thank you, Chris.
Oh, my
Thanks
pleasure.
for
Thank you
coming
very
in.
much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I think we voted.
We did.
Linda? Yes. Okay.
Me? Yeah, I don't know.
I'll start.
Is it your turn?
Resolution 423-15 of 2018, resolution rescinding resolution 49-6 of 2018, appointing temporary seasonal labor for the Town of Hyde Park Recreation Department.
My second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 42316 of 2018, resolution commencing the local law adoption process for local law number B of 2018, entitled "A Local Law Changing the Meeting Date of the Town of Hyde Park Board of Assessment Review," which
Right.
this is, stems from Chris stepping in, that we need to change the date of the grievance day, so thanks, Warren, for swinging into action.
Yeah,
Thanks, Sandy.
Yeah.
Sandy really worked hard to get this all together. Really appreciate that.
I second that.
And it's written in a very obtuse kind of way, that it's the change in the assessment date for the meeting of the Board of Assessment Review of the Town of Hyde Park from the fourth Tuesday in May to the second Wednesday following the fourth Tuesday in May,
Yeah.
commencing immediately and each year thereafter.
That's the way that we like to write them, so nobody understands.
Jump.
So-
jump.
Just make sure everybody understands what the date is. Do we?
So what is that date?
Oh, I don't have it off the top. Do you have a
So-
calendar?
The lawyer wouldn't
I
have
know,
that.
I think we should make sure everybody knows. what the
Yeah,
date is.
yes, we should.
Is it May 7th?
I don't know, Warren, you're
No,
gonna
it's
have.
the end of the month.
End of the
It's-
month.
it
Well,
would
we,
be
I believe it's the
22nd.
30th.
Well, you can
Yes.
figure it
It's
out
a-
on the calendar.
It's Monday, the 30th?
No, it's,
Wait.
It's a Wednesday.
Yeah,
let's just make sure we have the,
it's a
It
Wednesday,
would have been the
Thursday.
22nd, so, yeah, the 30th.
It's the 30th, yes,
30th.
yeah,
So
yes,
May
because we,
30th.
Well, the fourth Tuesday, May, so the second Wednesday following the fourth.
Yeah, May
Tuesday
30th.
in May. I'm in the wrong month.
that's not
the 30th.
helpful.
22. So it would be the 30th.
Yeah, because we didn't want
Everybody
to,
understands that's grievance day,
So,
the
yes.
30th.
May 30th will be the new.
Bring all your
grievance.
grievances to
You see
town.
how our attorney, he just
You're
looked,
gonna be here
you
that
just
day.
looked really smart. Everyone was like the 30th. It's the 30th.
But I'm in the wrong month.
Thank you, Warren.
Okay, so May 30th grievance day.
Only if you're unhappy with your assessment.
Coming here on grievance day. So, you better serve donuts.
Okay.
All right, last one.
This was added at the day. Okay. I'm up, I guess. Or you are?
Go for it.
No, I am.
I don't know.
All right. Resolution 423-17 of 2018, resolution authorizing highway superintendent to purchase a backhoe to maintain drainage and road systems of the town of Hyde Park.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. I think that's it. Oh, I did get a very nice note today from a resident of River Road who let me know what an outstanding job our new parks employee is doing, Carl. And she just said she's never seen the park maintained as nicely. So just want to give a shout out to Carl for his really nice work. It's really,
I'll shout out to him, too. I go down to the railroad station and meditate in the morning. He's there. He picks up every leaf, every piece of paper. He's a terrific guy.
yeah, he's great. We're
Yep.
lucky to have him.
Yep.
I took my kids to clean up at our park in our
That was so
neighborhood over the
nice.
weekend, and there was hardly any garbage there. So I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe our employees are doing a better job there too, because usually there's a lot of cans and bottles in our park.
Well, you know, it was something I was going to mention when Howie was talking, and Howie is really open to doing additional work in the town, and that's another way for us to have add revenue to the highway budget for paving, because,
Good.
you know, he's going to help us maintain the Green Tree Corner, for example, and I'm working on, along with Dave, a project to improve the Veterans Memorial,
Yes.
which we are finally making progress,
We had
and
some scouts.
we have the new plaque ordered
That'll be
that will have additional names that were omitted when the memorial was first created, and so that's been ordered, and
The
so
new flagpole we're working on.
we're working on that. And so, you know, we talked about improving the landscaping there, because we want it to make a more of a circular feeling, because there will now be plaques on the rear of the memorial. And so Howie, you know, jumped right in and said that he'd
Thank
be
you.
helpful
Great.
for us. And then the Boy Scouts also, Nicole Nooks, I saw her today at the grocery store, and
Yep.
she said that her Boy Scouts would like to be part of that project. So it's going to be nice, and it's going to be in the fall, because it'll take us that long to get it together, for sure.
And Saturday was an exciting day in Hyde Park
It
with
was,
Earth
yeah.
Day at the drive-in. I mean, it was packed with a lot of people bringing their household items. And then a big shout out to the visual environment. They were out Saturday
Yes.
mulching all the beds, cleaning up the garbage. I
And
mean, we
Bob
just had
Delarme, too.
Bob Delarme and
Yeah.
the lanes. I mean, we really have some dedicated people here in Hyde
No
Park that
doubt.
do a lot of volunteering and to make our community that much better. So
Absolutely.
shout out to all them. It was just
Yes,
a
thank
great
you.
day on Saturday,
Yeah.
seeing all that.
And on Sunday, they had a bird walk at Winnie.
Yes, I ran through them.
Did you scare up all the birds?
Oh, yeah, maybe the people on the ground. Dave Wise and I, it was funny.
Winnicky Park, I love, just
That was
right,
great,
park
yeah.
right here in
Yeah.
town. It's just so
So
great.
many-
Yeah, we were just there. It's so nice.
All right, so may I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion.
And second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
And thank you, Linda, for being here with us tonight. Thanks.
It was pretty simple.
It wasn't so bad, right? I knew it would be fine.
You're gonna spend the time on our stuff, though. She sent me the list. Okay.
Wow, and I looked at it, I said,